Okay, Mike L emailed me with a question, a very important question, and I think it's very pertinent, especially if you're a small business. So Mike says, I'm a small business owner. I'm starting a new venture. The previous one had a flat kind of disposition. And so I wanted to get this new business off the ground and do well. I've researched a little bit and see that I may need brand strategy. Do small businesses need brand strategy? And if so, should I go for it? I see that brand strategy could be expensive, anywhere starting from $5,000 and up. And is that a good investment? And then he goes on to describe a little bit more about his business and all that. Okay, so Mike, a brand strategy is a plan. It's a fancy word, but it is just a plan, right? Now, let's say that you are traveling or you want to travel to Bordeaux, right? Bordeaux in France. You're a wine lover and you want to go to Bordeaux. You want to travel there. You want to do a wine tour. You want to visit some of your favorite vineyards, and that's for a holiday, right? Now, would you just book a ticket to France? In fact, would you just go to the airport, ask for the next flight to Bordeaux, to France, and then wait for it? Maybe if it's in 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever, or maybe the next day, you hang out in the lounge and then you board the flight, just land in Bordeaux, walk out of the airport, call a taxi and say, take me to the nearest hotel or whatever. And then, yes, you could do that, and maybe there are people who do that. But is that the right way to do it? Would that maximize your budget? Now, of course, if you have unlimited budget and unlimited time, that's fine. But is that the right way to do it? Would you rather sort of spend maybe a month or two prior to your holiday time and, research, first of all, the best kind of flights, the best routes? Would you take a single flight, direct from wherever, to New York or Los Angeles or whatever, directly to Bordeaux? Or is it better, is it more efficient and more economical to, break your flight, so you land in London and then take another flight from there? Which is the best hotel? Do you stay in the Medoc, or do you stay in Bordeaux city itself? And then do you rent a car beforehand so that you can not only drive to your hotel, but then, when you want to travel to the different vineyards, maybe Margaux or Rothschild, you then drive from your hotel? Or is it more economical just to wake up in the morning, decide on a vineyard, and then call a cab if there is one, if you can find one, or get on the train? Do you see what I'm saying? I know I took the Bordeaux travel analogy too far, and I did that because I'm a wine lover. I'm an enthusiast. I love Bordeaux. I visited Bordeaux a couple of times, and I want to visit it again. But this is what it is. A brand strategy is a plan. It is a strategy, of course, on what your brand means. Okay, it's what your business means. How you're going to, who your target audience is. Understanding your target audience, and what kind of message would not only appeal to them, but also align with them. What makes sense to them? What makes sense to your brand? What your brand stands for? What are its core values? Beside just a product or service and just saying, okay, I want to sell this. So again, let's take a wine analogy. Today's the day of wine analogies, right? So would you just, let's say if you're selling, if you want to sell fine wine, do you just decide one day, you have a small cellar, you just then say, okay, I'm going to put up a website, I'm going to call it this, just put up a website, put your fine wines on display on the website and then just wait for people to drop by and buy your wine? No, that would not work unless that's, you're a millionaire already and you don't really need the money from that, and it's just a hobby on the side, and you have a beautiful cellar with, maybe some fine wine, and you just want to put them out there. Now, what you want to do is really understand who are these people who would be interested in these wines, these fine wines. Let's say, depending on the pricing, right? So if you're selling fine wines and they start from $600 a bottle, and they go anywhere up to, I don't know, $200,000 a bottle, right? If that is the thing you're working with, you need to understand who your target audience is. These are private collectors, and with a lot of money, and they are obviously interested in wine, and these could be the niche could be collectors, wine collectors, or it could be people who actually buy to drink, and so on and so forth. Who are these people? You got to understand them. What kind of message are you giving out? There's lots and lots of fine wine websites out there, fine wine sellers out there. How are you going to position yourself? Are you going to position yourself as a broker, someone who would buy fine wine, you have a collection, and then you're selling it on? So you take the trouble of going to, I don't know, maybe you're going to Puglia, right, in southern Italy, in the heel of Italy. They have some great wine there, by the way. Beautiful Primitivo, Negromaro wines, beautiful, beautiful wines. I was there in Puglia last year with my wife and kids, and we did a wine tour. And yeah, I would recommend that. But anyway, back to the topic. You need to, so if you're buying those and then just selling them on, or you put your effort, you go there, you use your expertise, you buy the right kind of, you check the authenticity, you bring them back. So collectors would pay a premium off you. Or are you a collector yourself and you like to not only collect but also sort of engage in auctions? And so this strategy as a small business, okay, maybe fine wine is a haute couture kind of example. Maybe it's, it sounds too fancy. Even if you're selling widgets, right? Maybe you're selling something like, I don't know, this, right? This is something that is on my table, and I use it at home too, and it can hold an iPhone, right? An iPhone, and for watching videos or whatever. Let's say you're selling that gadget, right? Of course, you're gonna get on Amazon, and then you're gonna put it up for sale. But you need to understand who would buy this, right? What kind of a message would you give? So a strategy is really about positioning your brand. You don't just rush into a business and with just a logo and a website and your product or service and think that you're going to succeed. Maybe you would, okay? Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. But why take the chance? So even if you're a small business, it's worth investing in getting a brand strategy. Okay, let's talk about the investment a little bit. You mentioned 5,000 and over. Yes, typically you're looking at a simple brand strategy could be even like a 3,000, 3,500, but that would probably just be like a brand audit, right? So a strategist or an agency or a company providing brand strategy would sort of spend a little time on figuring out what your target audience is, who your target audience are, the marketing sector, and then give you a little bit of a plan on how to approach it. Or you could go for a more robust kind of brand strategy, which includes, getting to the bottom of who your target audience is, building the buyer personas, identifying the one person who is your ideal customer, and then of course tertiary customers, client personas, and so on and so forth. Coming up with a strategy, coming up with a positioning strategy, coming up with a messaging strategy. 5,000, 7,000, it could be even $10,000 for more in-depth, for tougher competition, competitive landscapes like fine wine. A brand strategy could be 20,000, 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. For even more competitive kind of market segments, insurance or law. It could be 30,000, 40, 50,000, 100,000. So yes, the range can go on, but as a small business, $3,000 to $5,000 is reasonable, right? How much would you spend on a holiday? You know, on a holiday that you take this year, right? With your wife, with your kids. How much would you spend? $3,000? $5,000? Yes, you're getting a lot of value out of it. And you might say, why are you comparing time with your family to investing in a business? Well, it is the same kind of investment. Your business is your family. It's your baby, right? You need to invest in it. You need to invest in it to get the right kind of returns. Why? Because when you make a lot more money, you can then invest more in your family, right? You can invest more in going on better trips with your family, longer trips, and spending more time with your family. So yes, I think it's a great investment. $3,000 to $5,000 is a no-brainer. $7,000 to $10,000, it depends on what kind of price points you have. Let's say you are a consultant and you're charging your clients $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 for whatever, the consulting service, right? In that case, spending $10,000 on getting a robust brand strategy with messaging and the whole 9-yard, the brand playbook, right? $10,000. It's worth it. 2 good clients can pay that, or 1 good client can, get you back the $10,000. So yes, I would recommend it. I would recommend every small business to get brand strategy before spending any money on marketing or advertising. Because without a strategy, your marketing, your advertising is a waste of money. Really. That's why a lot of small business owners, if you ask them, the ones that have indeed spent on marketing and advertising, most small business owners don't spend anything, which is a pity because, in fact, that's why they either remain as small business owners or sometimes they shut the doors on the small business owners. And there are some statistics that are scary, the number of small businesses that actually launch in a year and the number that shut down within a year or 2. It's quite scary. And the reason is because they don't invest in strategy, of course, forget about that, but they don't even invest in marketing or advertising. But even if they do, sometimes, most of the times they fail because there is no plan, there is no strategy. So you're going blind and you're probably looking at a campaign or a marketing campaign that a competitor is doing, and you then try to emulate that and you spend money and it's going to fail because, look, you don't know what the competitor is doing, right? You don't know behind the scenes. You only can see the campaign on the face value, and you don't know if they have a plan, if they have a strategy in place, right? You don't know that. And maybe they do, and that's why they're succeeding. So before spending anything, even on a logo, right? Even spending $500 on a logo or $1,000 on a logo, right? Get a strategy. Start with a strategy. And if you don't have a brand name, then the strategy is a great place, that great thing that gives you a great brand name, and it gives you a great brand identity, and then it gives you a great marketing, it gives you a platform or a stepping stone to build a great marketing strategy, and then deciding whether to advertise or not. Which are the best channels for your particular brand and your business. Not because your competitor is there, but because your strategy dictates that. Okay, let's say you have 2 businesses, A and B, in the same sector. Let's say it is air conditioning units, right? You're selling air conditioning units, small air conditioning unit, compact air conditioning units. And you got 2 different companies. One company might just decide, okay, everyone needs an air conditioning unit. Most homes need during summer. So I'm just gonna put up a website and I will say this is for homes. And the other one goes for a strategy. And the strategy determines that, first of all, who are your target audience and the competitive landscape. So a generic kind of target audience is a big no-no, right? If you're trying to please everyone, you please no one. If you try to target everyone, you target no one. So you need to be really focused in your targeting, at least in the beginning. And then once you gain momentum, then you slowly start looking at other kind of target audiences. And the strategy then determines that, you know what, focus on small office, home office kind of audience, right? Buyers. These are people who have a home office, and so they dedicate one room in their house to an office, and they need an air conditioning unit that is low noise and, you know, efficient, and so on and so forth. Target that, and imagine then your messaging changes, right? You're not going to say the same things as company B, who is just targeting everyone. They're targeting doctors, they're targeting homes, they're targeting women, they're targeting men, right? So now you have a very dedicated, narrow focus. Your messaging is spot on. And you might think that, oh no, if I target on a niche audience, and by the way, I will do a separate video on targeting, laser-like targeting, right? You might think, I'm leaving all this money on the table. All the other people who would buy an air conditioning unit, I'm losing all that. No, that's a myth. Believe me, that's a myth, right? Unless you're, I don't know, a huge company, right? Like Walmart or something like that, who is targeting everyone, they get away with it, not you, right? You're a small business. Don't worry, you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to be, in any case, they're not your customers. They're not going to become your customers yet. But once you focus, then people who are searching for, so all the entrepreneurs who are setting up home offices, they're searching online for the best AC. And because their mindset is for that home office, they'll be searching for air conditioning unit for home office. And because you have targeted your messaging, your website, your whole kind of content strategy is built on that, you will come up top of the search. Or maybe you're making videos talking about small offices, not just air conditioning unit, but small offices, right? You make videos on small offices, and then they watch a video, and then you talk about air conditioning unit as a part of that. And your advice is so good because you're specializing on that, you're focusing on that, you're a no-go. It's a no-brainer. You are a no-brainer to pick you as the supplier for that unit, right? So I know this is a very long-winded and a very long explanation, but I feel it is a very important topic. You've asked a beautiful question, and I am very passionate about this. I believe that every small business should start with brand strategy. Now, even if they're a business already in play, right? They've been around for a year, maybe two, and they see that the growth is not really that great. Maybe it's flat, the revenues are not great, and of course the profit levels are going to go down. Maybe they're not investing in business because the revenues are actually for you, it's even more important that you try and figure out what's going on, and you need a brand strategy. So you start with a brand audit and then get a brand strategy. And mark my word, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever you spend on your brand strategy, that would be the best investment you make for your business. Trust me, it will be the best investment. So yeah, this is my opinion, of course. You might disagree. Maybe you have seen stellar success without a strategy, without a plan. If you did, then kudos to you. You know, you are an outlier. You are one of those rare kind of business owners. But typically, for a regular business owner, a strategy is the starting point. It is the gateway to success. If you have any questions on this topic, leave a comment below and I will try to answer. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and yeah, taken some direction in terms of what brand strategy is. Till my next video, take care.